How's it going? Welcome back to another ranked doubles battle, bringing the Beheeyem team once again. If you guys haven't checked out the first video, I will leave it linked in the description down below. Now for this video, I had my mic muted, so it may be a bit weird as I'm going to commentate over it, unfortunately. So it's a bit awkward for me since I already know how the battles went down, but bear with me and let's get right into it. And our first opponent is B, with the team of Cinderace, Rillaboom, Umbreon, Blastoise, Rhyperior, and the Whimsicott. So I'm obviously okay going in with the Beheeyem and the Entity lead since he doesn't have any... Well, he does have the Umbreon, but I feel pretty comfortable going in with this lead since Expanding Force pretty much hits everything on his team, except for the Umbreon. But we're going to bring in the Corviknight since we do have the Body Press, and I'm going to bring in the... I believe I ended up bringing up the Darmanitan. Yeah. I think we end up bringing the Darmanitan in this match. I don't remember if I do. Yeah, okay. So we end up bringing the Darmanitan. I don't really remember what the lead was for my opponent. B number 7. But yeah, it's a little bit awkward for me having to commentate over about like the battles because my thought process was already recorded. Well, not recorded, but my mic was muted, so it just sucks. But yeah, okay, leading off with the Cinderace and the Blastoise. I'm expecting Shell Smash and obviously Libero Cinderace. Either or can either Gmax or yeah, either or can Gmax actually. I forgot Cinderace has a Gmax, but first turn, I end up going for the Meteor Beam onto the Cinderace, following up with the Follow Me. Which is honestly, I felt pretty comfortable with this turn. I wanted to get the special attack boost with the Meteor Beam. Alright, let's see what my opponent is going to go for. I kind of actually forgot what my opponent ended up going for this turn. I think he ends up going for the Sucker Punch, which is, I was a little bit confused. Because the Psychic Terrain is on the field, Shell Smash coming out from the Blastoise. A little bit scary. Actually, it is pretty scary, especially since in this battle, spoiler alert, Blastoise ends up G-maxing here. So Shell Smash into the White Herb, and we're going for the Meteor Beam onto the Cinderace. Get that special attack boost. I actually love the Power Herb with Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam is probably one of my favorite moves, to be honest. But yeah, into the Cinderace. I actually don't know what happened here. Why it was still super effective. I think because it failed. I'm going to assume because it failed. Because he ended up going for the Sucker Punch. I would assume he would have been a Dark type. Unless that's how it works. Unless I didn't see it right. Alright, so unfortunately, Rillaboom comes in with the Grassy Surge, getting rid of our Psychic Terrain. I do have Psychic Terrain on the Entity, but I still feel comfortable with going with the Expanding Force to get damage on both Pokemon. I do believe I end up going for the Follow Me here. Oh, I ended up Dynamaxing. The idea was to Dynamax into Max Mindstorm to set the terrain again. I think that's what I ended up going for. Yeah, we ended up going for expanding or Max Mindstorm onto the Blastoise. I just felt like it was pretty threatening. Especially since I knew, well, I didn't know, but it was going to go for the G-Max. See, this is why commentating over something that you already commentated over is a little bit weird, because you already know what's going to happen. But I'm trying to make it seem like, you know, I don't know what was going on. But anyways, Blastoise G-Maxes. And I feel like I should have targeted the Rillaboom, but at the same time, I think it was smart for me to go for the Blastoise since it had the stat boost. Yeah, Dynamaxing the Beheeyem. Max Mindstorm, and then the Follow Me. I don't remember if this is the Rillaboom match, but... No, I don't think it is. I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, Follow Me comes out. And the Blastoise is obviously faster than us. Oh, this is actually pretty cool. I'm actually very bulky. I end up living at 1 HP, which was actually good because we pretty much avoided Rillaboom's knockoff onto the Beheeyem. I just didn't. Well, I mean, it's good. I would have lived, but we don't want any damage on the Beheeyem. Nonetheless, Max Mindstorm, and that was the first crit by Rillaboom, by the way. Blastoise lives, and it was a crit too. I was actually very surprised. I was mainly very, very surprised because we have the special attack boost, but it must have like some bulk investment on that Blastoise. But yeah. And then we gonna go ahead and bring out the Darmanitan. I knew the Blastoise wasn't gonna be faster than the Darmanitan, so I had to bring out the Darmanitan out. It's a good thing I actually brought it because I was thinking about bringing Cinderace, if I remember. So here, I was making really poor choices. I sometimes get really greedy when it comes to the stat boost and Dynamaxing. So I ended up going for the Max Steel Spike. But at the end of the battle, it was well worth it. Max Steel Spike, luckily. Like I could have gone for the Max Mindstorm to one-shot the Rillaboom, but instead I went for the Max Steel Spike, which was, I guess, not the best play at this very moment, but it ends up being worth it towards the end. So superpower, I didn't want to go for Rock Slide just in case I didn't want to miss, because it would have been a big downfall. But unfortunately, the Rillaboom ends up being faster than us, and I don't actually remember. Like, I wanted to team preview his team because he kept getting crits nonstop. This is the second crit, by the way. Unless he was running like Scope Lens or something. Because I think he just went for the knockoff throughout the whole battle. But yeah, ended up going for the Max Steel Spike. It does a really good amount of damage, but I knew Max Mindstorm would have knocked it out. Nonetheless, we get a defense boost, which is, I guess, okay. We take damage from the Vortex. Out comes the Corviknight. I was pretty comfortable going in with Corviknight, going up against the Rillaboom. And out comes the Umbreon. Now, the Umbreon was actually pretty scary and kind of problematic, not going to lie to you. Going for the Max Mindstorm onto our Max Steel Spike. Yeah, so like here, I could have easily just went for the Brave Bird onto the Rillaboom or Body Press, and I would have knocked it out and just got more damage going for like a Max Steel Spike or Max Overgrowth onto the Umbreon. And this is the third crit, by the way. I don't know, sometimes I make plays that I feel like I don't think it through, which I should be, honestly, but we're getting better. We're warming up to it. Umbreon goes for the Yawn. That actually ends up becoming kind of problematic. But yeah, we get another defense boost, which is really nice, along with the Corviknight. Rillaboom faints. We get damaged by the Vortex. And then we see Umbreon with the leftovers. I actually almost lost to this Umbreon, which was really scary. And I think I made a few misplays where I could have potentially just knocked that out and got it over with, but I felt like I was playing way too safe. But nonetheless, we go for the Energy Ball this turn. I think I ended up checking to see which move was stronger. Yeah, I ended up going for the Energy Ball. And now keep in mind, Beheeyem was yawned. And I decided to go for the Bulk Up or Roost, just because I know Umbreon is like really bulky. So he ends up going for the Protect, which is really smart, which cancels out my attack with Beheeyem and ends up going to sleep next turn. Goes for the Bulk Up. So we're pretty offensive right now. So Energy Ball, not gonna make contact. Gonna get damaged by the Vortex. Got that leftovers recovery. He played his Umbreon very well. And then we end up falling asleep this turn. Honestly, I'm glad we ended up going for the Max Steel Spike. I feel like that Rillaboom was probably choice banded or scarfed. Going for the Roost because I figured that he was going to have the foul play, which he actually did. I was actually pretty scared. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I think defense boost kind of helps us with that. Because I feel like if we didn't have the defense boost and we do have the attack raise, we would have been taking more damage from that. Okay, Beheeyem's asleep. I was hoping at some point Beheeyem, attacks. Because if I keep bulking up, I might get like crit foul play or get put to sleep by the yawn, and Umbreon would have just won easily. But goes for the foul play onto the Beheeyem. Is doing fairly well, good amount of damage. Like I said, I feel like if I didn't get those defense boosts, it probably would have done a little bit more damage. Alright. Going for the energy ball. And I'm going to play a little bit offensive here. I end up going for the body press. We do a good chunk of damage. Really good damage. That's like a 2-hit KO range. Goes for the foul play again. We end up living at 2 HP. And we're still asleep. Which really sucks. Umbreon with the leftovers recovery. Go for the energy ball. And I just go for another body press. And this is where I knew I was safe. So that was GG's. Umbreon was actually pretty scary, not gonna lie. I kind of figured he would bring the Umbreon too for the Indeedee shenanigans. But yeah, GG's to player B. GG's. It feels so weird, like having to commentate knowing that I know what to expect, but this is the way it's got to go down. Unfortunately, you get a rare candy. Moving on to the next opponent. Moving up. Unfortunately, this video was recorded like 2 days ago, and I think the Battle Stadium rewards, or this season, I think this is season 5. I actually don't know, but I think we're on a new season now. Which I was thinking about using the same team just to get into a Masters, but I feel like I'm going to end up switching the teams. Just to try to get to a Master rank. Which I never made it to Master rank for doubles, only for singles. Alright, so we have Scrafty, Charizard, Ferrothorn, Hatterene, Rotom, and the Indeedee. Now this team was really tricky. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to try my best not to spoil it. But it was either going Trick Room, Max Airstream with the Charizard shenanigans. So I figured, okay, I'm going to lead off with Cinderace because I don't like Ferrothorn. And just in case, Scrafty. Let's see. Yeah, because I figured Cinderace pretty much hits everything. I did want to bring... I think I ended up bringing in Primarina or Darmanitan still. I couldn't decide. But I wanted to bring in the Indeedee without the Beheeyem, I think, this game. I don't remember. And then I started getting pressured because of the timer, which really sucked. So I feel like that's probably what cost me the battle. I'm not gonna lie. Alright. Going into the next match. I actually don't remember who he leads off with. Alright, we got Hatterene and Indeedee. So obviously Trick Room. I figured typically Indeedee runs the Trick Room. And I've seen Hatterene run the Trick Room too, but in this case I thought the Indeedee would, you know, carry the Trick Room. Okay, so automatically I didn't want to deal with the Indeedee shenanigans, so I ended up G-maxing Cinderace, which wasn't too bad. Ended up going for the Helping Hand into the Cinderace. I figured, I mean, obviously I couldn't play offensive or there was no point of going for the follow me since I knew Trick Room was going to be set. I guess more so I should have probably targeted the Hat Rennie, but I was expecting either Trick Room or Follow Me. Which I believe, I think, okay, Helping Hand probably wasn't needed to be honest, but more or less. And then I'm going for the Max Darkness onto the Entity. Knocks it out completely. We get a defense drop on the Hat Rennie, or a special defense drop, I should say. And then this is where the fun begins. Trick Room gets set up, and I was like, oh crap. He has something in the back, and I don't remember what it was, but his whole team was like minus speed. I'm spoiling it now. His whole team was like minus speed. Either that or I was just really fast. Going for the G-Max, what was it, the Fireball into the Hat Rennie. I wanted that thing gone because that thing hits pretty hard. And we ended up going for the Follow Me just in case. Even though I think the Hat Rennie carries Dazzle Gleam. Like I said, sometimes I don't think it through until like after I'm like, oh, what if this happens? Which sucks. And he's taking his time thinking through this. I was playing very impatient. I need to start realizing, or just play more in general, because that's how you just end up getting better and just adapt to how, adapt to certain plays, I should say. But yeah, so Follow Me comes out. Dazzle Gleam is going to be super effective. I totally forgot since the Libero thing. Hydro Pump comes out into the Entity. We take that fairly well. We are bulky. G-Max Fireball. Into the Hat Rennie. Does a really good amount of damage. It's really strong. I guess this turn I probably should have went for the Max, what was it, the Flutterby? I think that's what it's called. I don't remember. I didn't see what it was. End up going for another Follow Me. I feel pretty safe here since the Dazzle Gleam isn't going to be doing too much since we are Fire type. And I don't have to worry about Hydro Pump since we got the Entity Follow Me shenanigans. I was feeling pretty confident, not going to lie. I thought I had it in the bag here. But Dazzling Gleam comes out, almost knocks out the Entity. And we see the Hydro Pump, and it actually connects. That's 2 in a row. Entity goes down. G-Max Fireball. Yeah, so I feel like I should have went for the Bug type move just so I can get the special attack drop on the Rotom. And then here I ended up bringing out the Corviknight, I believe. I think regardless I was somewhat screwed because he brought the right Pokemon. See, he had Charizard, he had Rotom for Corviknight. I couldn't do much. And Trick Room was still up. Yeah, because I think his Charizard was slower than my Corviknight. We have speed investment on Corviknight. Yeah, so I ended up checking to see how many turns of Trick Room, and I was like, okay, we're probably screwed. Nonetheless, I ended up going for the Sucker Punch since I knew I was going to fake this turn onto the Charizard since Psychic Terrain doesn't affect Pokemon that are flying. I don't know if it works the same for Pokemon that levitate. I don't remember. I wasn't too sure, so I didn't end up going for the Rotom here. But yeah, expecting the G-Max Charizard. Actually caught in a Master Ball. It's pretty cool. But yeah, G-Max Charizard. Spook. Ended up going for the Sucker Punch. I just want to get some damage off. There was no way I was surviving. plus 2 turns of Trick Room, we were definitely going to get obliterated by either the Rotom or the Charizard. Okay, so I was actually faster or slower than the Charizard, but Thunderbolt comes out into the Cinderace. See, this is where I start realizing some of the things. It's like, typically I would go for like a G-Max Wildfire onto the Cinderace, or Rotom going for the Corviknight. When G-Max Pokemon do, or G-Max / Dynamax do just more damage in general. We see that the Charizard is Life Orb, and I'm pretty much screwed with 1 turn of Trick Room. So I feel like I needed to, well, obviously, right? I needed to stall out the Protect, or the Trick Room. So yeah, that was pretty much GG for this match, sadly. I was Choice Scarf, so I was the fastest thing on the field. I couldn't do anything about it. Even if I would have to pray for like flinch, crit, or something on the Charizard. Well, no flinch, obviously, since you can't flinch Dynamax Pokemon. But yeah, I would have prayed for a flinch on the Rotom and just kept going if Trick Room wasn't up. Because I feel like Rock Slide might have been enough to knock it out from here. But yeah, Thunderbolt comes out, and then G-Max Wildfire, and down goes Gorilla. Or Monkey. I think it's Gorilla. That is GG. Definitely caught me off guard with the Trick Room. I should have checked this team. Maybe it wasn't like a full Trick Room team with like minus speed, but still good overall. Alright. Well, that was GG. We losing points, but that's okay. We play a game. Play again, and we pick Mustard 2 song. But yeah, so far I've had pretty much a lot of fun with the team. I don't know how long I'm going to be using the team. I think this might be the last one if the season did change, or if we're on to a new season, because I'm really enjoying the doubles. Alright, next opponent, we got Ash with a team of Togekiss, Duraludon, Arcanine, and I'm actually surprised seeing Mr. Rhyme along with the Excadrill and the Lapras. So typically Lapras with the G-Max Orovale shenanigans, might be a support Arcanine, and Stalwart, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Duraludon, Super Luck or Flinch Kiss. Regardless, I was still comfortable leading off with the Beheeyem and the Entity. Bringing in Darmanitan just in case we need to outspeed. Of course, the Excadrill. Alright. I think we ended up bringing in the Primarina. I didn't see. I don't remember. Alright, Ash. Leading off with the Togekiss and Duraludon. Now, I've actually encountered this same thing on Showdown, and I had totally forgot about the Stalwart. So, I kind of just played a 50-50 here. But yeah, Entity, Beheeyem, typical lead, of course. We got Togekiss, Duraludon. Expecting Follow Me from the Togekiss, so I just ended up going for the Meteor Beam to confirm my knockout. And even if I went for the Follow Me this turn, Duraludon would have still went for the Beheeyem. Because typically, it's Choice Specs, Stalwart, and for Stalwart, if you guys don't know, it ignores redirection. So I was just like, okay, screw it. I think we might live. And we actually lived at 17 HP. Which is really nice. We go for the Expanding Force. Expanding Force Helping Hand is like godlike. We get a double knockout. I was like, okay, we Follow Me next turn. and we expanding force. If this is a 2-turn game, then that is GG. Out comes the Lapras, which I expected to be the G-Max, along with the Arcanine. Gonna get the Intimidate drop. Not too much to worry about since we're specially offensive. Going for the Expanding Force. I totally forgot that I mentioned earlier, if this was a support Arcanine, I was expecting the Snarl, which would have hit both of us, which to follow me didn't really matter. And we are the slowest thing on the field. And of course, Lapras is going to end up going for the G-Max move. What was it? The Resonance, I believe it's called. Okay, so follow me. Regardless, there was no win condition between the two since Snarl came out. Beheeyem fainted. Alright, so G-Max comes out, which actually ends up knocking us out, unfortunately. Or I think he ended up getting a crit. Because we're actually very bulky. And I felt like we could have survived that. Alright. Entity faints, we have the Darmanitan and the Primarina. And since I realized it was a support Arcanine, I was actually very comfortable. I kind of had this already planned out. Spam Rock Slide, and then G-Max, or Dynamax Primarina. Knock out the Arcanine so we don't have to deal with the Snarl shenanigans. Because I figured the Lapras was going to be a bit problematic. I didn't know if it was like super offensive, but I think it was actually really bulky, if I'm not mistaken. Because it wasn't doing too much damage. I don't remember. But I know it was for sure going to be a fight between Lapras and the Primarina. Luckily we were Assault Vested. Because I know Lapras carries the Thunder, or Max Lightning. But yeah, going for the Rock Slide. We either pray for a flinch on the Arcanine and then just get chip damage onto the Lapras. Doesn't end up flinching, and we get Will-O-Wisp by the Arcanine. I wasn't too worried about it. Max Lightning comes out into the Primarina. Does very little damage. We are extremely bulky on the Primarina. Plus the Assault Vest comes in handy, for sure. So I wasn't too worried. Ended up going for the Max Geyser, knocking out the Arcanine. Don't have to deal with any more shenanigans. We get the Rain up. Electric Terrain's on the field. Of course, the Electric Terrain is going to boost the power of Max Lightning, which is a bit scary. I was a little bit worried. I had a feeling that the Lapras was going to target the Primarina, but I don't know. I guess for some reason my partner misplayed here. And if I remembered, he ended up going for the Max Lightning onto the Darmanitan, which, I mean, we're burned. We're not going to be doing too much. Yeah, we're not doing too much. Okay, Max Lightning comes out. Yeah, he ends up going for the Darmanitan. And we actually live at 14 HP. So that already kind of told me, like, okay, so this thing's not fully offensive. And then going for the Max Overgrowth. I was a little bit of afraid here to click Max Overgrowth because I've been seeing a lot of the Draining Kiss into Lapras weakness policy. But yeah. And then going for the Max Overgrowth, we get a little bit HP recovery on both sides of the field, of course. And let's see. That is it for the Dynamax Lapras, and we should be in a good position. So all we gotta do, Max Overgrowth, Lapras into, or Rock Slide into Lapras. I feel really bad because when it comes to like one-sided matches like this, I ended up going for the Rock Slide, obviously, and I end up getting the flinch, which led to my opponent rage quitting. Of course, after I got this Max Overgrowth. Yeah, it really sucks. I mean, regardless, the win wasn't there for him, but the flinch was not necessary. But yeah, that is GG to my opponent. I was like, yikes. I feel that. I felt that. It's like the worst. Flinch, rock slide is like the worst. Or any kind of flinch shenanigans. Or 30% chance of burn is always not the best. But yeah, I think I ended up checking his team to see like what was he running. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.